Hi guys, this is Bison, and in this game, you are about to see something which you probably haven't seen before. In this game, black wins with just 3 pawns, and those pawns become so deadly that they literally freeze all of the white pieces, even the queen. So make sure to watch till the end. Usually, I did not give any intros, but this game is special. You will definitely not regret. Okay, so now bishop to g5 by McDonnell, pinning this knight, but I know some of you might be thinking that why this move is an inaccuracy, and it's not because of the move h6 which attacks this bishop, and then you can see this bishop has to move twice, but that's not the case. The main reason is this check from the queen by queen to a5 check. And if you are thinking about protecting this check by either knight to c3 or knight to d2, in both the cases, black will definitely captures the e4 pawn with knight takes e4, taking benefit of this pinned knight. So that's not possible for white. And if you defend this check either with the queen or with the bishop, it's your choice. In both the cases, the condition will looks like same. I mean, let's suppose if this game continues like queen to d2 with the hope that black will exchange the queens, and by this you can see white can develop this knight, but obviously black will not do this, and instead he will go for bishop to d4, attacking this queen, and obviously you cannot defend this check by knight to c3. But why? This is because now comes knight takes e4, attacking this queen, and obviously white will not capture this knight due to the threat of this queen. So that's why, let's suppose if he goes for queen to d3, now comes bishop takes c3 check, b takes c3, and after that knight takes g5, and clearly you can see this is losing for black. So that's why here the better option after bishop to b4 for for white is to push c3, but again black will firstly capture on e4 with the same knight takes e4, attacking this queen. But let's suppose if white thinks that he can hold this by capturing this b4 on catching this bishop on b4, attacking this black queen. But here firstly black will capture this queen by knight takes d2, and since this bishop is attacked, so here white can sack this bishop on f7. This is because after king takes f7, you can see finally b takes a5, and since this knight is attacked, so black will definitely protect this, and now you can see both sides have equal material. But despite this, black is better due to the strong pawn chain as well as this amazing knight in the center. And you can see in the next move, black is going to develop this bishop on a6, whereas you can see most of the white pieces are in their original place, and this bishop on g5 is also not doing anything special. And by this, you can see this position is better for blacks. Okay, so in the actual game, yeah, let me go back to the move. Yes, yeah, so basically after bishop to g5, here black decides to develop this bishop on e7. Okay, so now in today's world, we all know that most of us will definitely capture this d5 pawn first, and after black recaptures with the c pawn, white can give a check from this b5 square. But instead, here Alexander decides to capture this knight with bishop takes f6. Okay, and obviously black will capture with the bishop, and after that he brings his bishop back to b3. Okay, so in this position, a5. And you can see in the next move, black is going to push a4, which will trap this bishop. So that's why it's better for white to bring this rook on d1. With the idea of, let's suppose if black pushed a4, now white can consider the move bishop to c4. And obviously, this is not possible due to this pin. But after the move a5, here white made a mistake by capturing on d5. And you can see now a4 is unstoppable and white will lose this bishop. But surprisingly, here black decides to capture on d5. And finally, rook to d1. With the same idea of if black pushed a4, then white will go for bishop to c4. So that's why here for black, bishop to a6 is recommended, but instead he goes for d4. And guys, this is the point from where this game becomes interesting. I think d4 is the better move than bishop to a6, which is recommended by modern engines because, as you can see, if black tries to just attack this queen by this, then black will simply slide this, and you can see everything is good. And but after the move d4, you can see now black has these two powerful advanced pawn, which also restrict this knight from going to c3 square. And now for white, either c3 or a knight to d2 is recommended so that he can create a wall, as well as this knight also controls this e4 square. But instead, he made a mistake by pushing c4. Okay, so here now white goes for bishop to c2. Basically, this move is played by white so that black cannot develop this bishop to f5. Okay, so now bishop to b7. Maybe he wants to push e4. So to stop this, here knight to d2 by white. Okay, and after that, black brings his rook into the game, and you can see now the tension rises on these two pawns. And now for white, it's better to go for bishop to e4 so that he can exchange this bishop and place this knight on e4. But instead, he directly goes for knight to e4, which attacks this bishop. Okay, so now c5, attacking this queen, and simply queen to c6 with the idea of pushing f5, which attacks this knight, which obviously white cannot move due to the threat of queen takes g2 mate. So that's why to stop this, f3. And now for black, it's better to just go for bishop to a6 so that he can attack this queen. But here black made a mistake by pushing f5. And yes, black is now attacking this knight, but this pawn push also opens the f7 square. And now white takes benefit of this. He gives a check by queen to c4. And now knight to d6 is coming, and later bishop to a4, and you can see white is back into the game. But instead he made a mistake by bishop to a4. But but as you can see here, white is targeting this queen and this rook. So why this move is still a mistake? This is because now black finds the best move, queen to h6, and yeah, you can see now he simply captured this rook, and and now, yeah, basically f takes e4. And now most of you be like, bro, what's the main idea behind all of this? Because now c6, and you can see now white is also targeting this bishop, and you can see now black is a piece down. So why did black do all of this? And guys, that's the main interesting part of this game, because in this position here Lewis shocked the chess world by giving up this bishop and capturing on f3. And basically he gives up this bishop, but let's suppose what will happen if he captures on b7, and if he captured, then that will be a huge blunder, because now comes queen to e3 check, and now this king goes either on f1 or on this h1 square. In both the cases black is winning. How? Let's see one by one. Let's suppose if this king goes to h1, f takes g2 check, king takes g2, rook to g2 check, king to g1, rook takes b2 check, a discovered check, simply king to h1, queen to f3 check, king to g1, and finally queen to g2 checkmate. And let me go back. Yup, let's suppose if king to f1, f takes g2 check, king takes g2, rook to f2 check, king to h1, queen to f3 check, king to g1, and finally queen to g2 checkmate. So that's why after this move, yup, here after seeing all of these complications, here white decides to go for rook to c2, and now bishop to a6 is just winning for black. But in this position here black missed that move, and he gives a check from e3 square, and that's a blunder because now black can easily guard this by rook to f2. But here white also missed that move, and he blunders by king to h1. And now to just win this game, black has to just find the move. And guys, I just want you all to pause the video and try to think that what's the winning move for black. Here the winning move is d3, attacking this rook. And if let's suppose queen takes d3, queen takes d3, rook takes d3, and after that f2. And since this pawn is close to promotion, so that's why white is forced to capture this, and you can see now black is threatening mate in one. So to stop this, h3, and finally you can see black will save this bishop back to c8, and yup, that's all. Okay, so in the actual game, after king to h1, here black goes for bishop to c8, defending this bishop. And again, d3 is possible, but here black goes for f2. And now it's better for white to bring this queen to c5. Yeah, basically trying to exchange this queen, but instead he made a mistake by queen to c4. And this is because of And in this position here, white gives up his queen by queen takes d1, and after rook takes d1, in this position the final move by black is e2, and in this position Alexander McDonnell resigned, because clearly you can see now there is nothing which white can do to stop these pawn from promotion. And guys, now just take a look at these pawns. I mean, this is the game which even Stockfish struggles to play. What a game, what a game by Lewis. Like this video and I will see you in the next one. This is your host Bison signing off. Bye bye.